Nelson.
Good gravy.
A radio host.
Found myself 2 million short of a millionaire.
Barely understandable.
Gee, Monetti.
We can rebuild him.
Guy's bright as a napkin.
We have the technology.
You gotta work with design, vision, and focus.
Better than he was before.
It's not lonely in my head.
Funnier.
I'm staring at a bowl of spaghetti trying to figure out which two ends come together.
More informative.
Characters defined by what you do once you screw up, not if you make mistakes along the way.
And just as sarcastic.
You sausage.
Oh, come on!
Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
Welcome back. You're with Nelson and Nelson Radio, brought to you by Title 365. Their vision and communication brings real estate transaction status right to your iPhone, computer, iPad. It's live transaction status. And we're moving into our Coach's Corner segment. And I want you to give us a call anytime that you want to reach us at 888-888-2136. 888-888-2136. And so, Drew, earlier in the program, we were talking about consumer confidence and the opposite of that, overcoming fear. And we have a treat in store. I have a treat in store for you in that we have Michael Chang on the phone with us. Michael, are you with us?
Yes.
So, Michael, thanks for joining us. And we've been talking about the consumer confidence in our world, in the business world, but it sets the stage for the question that I have for you, and that is going all the way back to the beginning of your career, 1989. You're on center court of the French Open. You're staring across at Ivan Lendl, not Drew Gitlin.
You're lucky about that, Michael, because, in practice I beat you once, and I think I spanked you in that Pro-Am. No, probably not, though.
Probably not. So Ivan Lendl's across the net. You've got all of America watching to see if you're going to break that 34-year streak in America not winning the U.S. Open. You've got 100-odd million people watching from China. Tell me what was going through your head. Were you scared?
Actually, I wasn't that scared because, I had played Ivan a few times already before. So I think, had I been, the first opportunity to play Ivan in my career, I think I probably would have been a lot more nervous. But, I played him a couple of times before. The first time I played him, I got pummeled pretty bad. So, and actually the time before that I had played him, maybe about a month prior to the 89 French, I actually beat him on clay. So I had a little bit of confidence, going in, thinking that, I've got to win over Ivan on clay. Obviously, at the French, it's going to be a lot more difficult, being 3 out of 5 sets, and him having be 3-time French Open champion. But I can't say that I was scared to go out there and play, but certainly excited.
So let me ask you this, because at 17, could you have possibly known that you had such an audience? I know a quote that came out later in your career that you looked at tennis as a bit of a platform to hopefully touch lives and encourage people. Did you have that sense that you were about to make history and about to touch millions of lives with your match?
Absolutely not. I think going into the French Open, I certainly didn't expect to win. I don't think anybody else expected me to win, and certainly I didn't expect to I wasn't thinking about, the American drought of 34 years there at the French Open. So, I think for me, I was just looking forward to each opportunity that I had to play. And, obviously to play against Ivan Lendl in the round of 16 on center court was something to get, pretty excited about. And, obviously after that match, that's when people started to really take notice. And, I think probably more people started to take notice a little bit more in China because, there are not too many Asians playing professional tennis at that time, much less being of Chinese descent. And, and obviously it was a very down time for Chinese people around the world at that time, because the situation in the crackdown in Tiananmen actually happened the middle Sunday of the French Open.
And that was part of history that was unfolding, obviously. We were all watching that. And I think that you had even made mention as Tiananmen Square was being broadcast to the world, you were spending your time on the court and then the balance of your time rushing back to watch the news and find out what's going on.
Absolutely. I think that, it was hard not to take note of, what was happening over there. And, especially, with the crackdown, so many university students, having lost their lives. And, and obviously, my family, being from China, my dad was born in Canton. My mom has had a lot of roots there, obviously. And, the world was glued to the television set. And, I was certainly doing the same if I wasn't out practicing for my matches or playing my matches.
Well, in your match, certainly, Drew, as you may know, with the precursor for Li Na, who won the French Open. And I noted they picked up the viewers in China during her French Open championship. 116 million people.
Yeah, I mean,
were viewers.
Listen, I was a viewer. I was a viewer back when you were playing. I mean, I was obviously before you on the Pro Tour, retiring in '85. But watching you play and the creativity and the courageousness that you showed during the French Open there was really incredible for all of us to take note of. And, that whole situation, I love to watch that whole, the Asian community in the tennis game has exploded. And that's really due to Michael. I mean, he was the first one. No question.
And Michael, are you developing tennis in China right now? Are you bringing some facilities over to the Far East and bringing up players?
I've done some various things over there. I was actually a few years back. I was actually on the verge of having my own tennis academy actually over there. Everything was really in place, and we were excited about the facilities and the future facilities that were going to be built. And in the last minute, the people we were working with ended up backing out. So, that was a little bit disappointing, for me. But, obviously, when I've had opportunities to go over there to spend some time with kids or even to have opportunities to, encourage some of the young players over there when I'm there playing, when I play their tournaments and stuff like that, I always try to take advantage of each opportunity. And, China, tennis is still relatively a new sport in China. Even with the success of Li Na, China does not have the facilities, in comparison to some place like the United States, for example. It's still relatively a very expensive sport to play, and it's not quite so easy to just hop on court to whenever you want. So.
Well, I appreciate you being with us and in your humility. I want to make certain I mention that with all the successes that you've had and the iconic career, the ambassador that you've been for not only the sport, but for the Chinese community and the Asian communities at large. Well done.
And I'm willing to bet that Michael still to this day hasn't missed a forehand since probably 1991. That's my bet.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I've missed a forehand maybe playing against Rob.
Thanks for being with us, Michael.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you, Michael.
Michael Chang, ranked number 2 in the world, stellar career, turned pro, I think, Drew, was it when he was 15 or 16 years old that he went out on the
15.
tour? I mean, you talk about a boy playing against men, and it's truly the case.
It was just, it was frightening. I mean, he was the fastest tennis player in the world. I mean, that was one of my strong suits.
How can you stare at me and say that?
Yeah, I know. I mean, that was my forte, and then he came on, and not only was he just unbelievably fast, but talented from every aspect of the game, and an incredibly mature thinker, which that's what you don't find at that age. And he was brilliant.
Yeah, as we have to be in business. I'm with my guest host, Chevy Atkinson, with Drew Gitlin from Prudential California Realty, soon to be Berkshire Hathaway. And we're in the Coach's Corner segment. This segment brought to you by Title 365. To reach us, give us a shout direct. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or you can text my name, Nelson, to 313131. We'll be right back.